Carno,
How are you, brother?
ultra marathon man.
Cut it out.
How are you? How are you?
I'm well, brother.
Dude, I'm actually in Hawaii right now. I'm taking a week-long vacation and I had perfect reading material for the plane.
Oh,
So,
right
I want
on.
to thank
Yeah.
you so much for sending me this book. It was awesome. I haven't finished it yet. I'm about three-quarters of the way into it, but man, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to hop on the Life Coach Zach podcast today. How's your morning going so far?
Yeah, it's going well. It's early for you. You're what is it? 8 a.m., 7 a.m.
It's a 5 hour difference from East Coast time because
East Coast.
Hawaii's
Okay.
weird. They don't flip their times. They just keep it consistent the whole year. So it's actually 10
Yeah.
a.m. in Hawaii,
10.
and
Okay.
I'm really excited to have you on the podcast today. So for all the people that are listening on Apple and Spotify, and all the people that are watching on YouTube, my guest today, very very special guest, Dean Karnazes, the ultra marathon man. How many miles have you ran in your lifetime, Dean?
I haven't kept a hard tally, but I would imagine it's over 100,000 miles. So like 4 trips around the earth. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, unreal. What are some of the things that you've learned about yourself? Obviously, I'm sure a ton of questions, and I don't even know exactly where I want to go with this podcast. I think the mental health aspect of it, the fact that running ultra marathons and marathons in general, you just got to keep going no matter the physical pain that you endure, but obviously the mental strength that you have built up and cultivated over the years has been super important. What are some of the things that you've learned about yourself when it comes to doing these ultra marathons?
It teaches you that you're better than you think you are, and you can go further than you think you can. So, throwing yourself into these ultras is scary because the outcome is uncertain. But if you can get to the finish line, or at least if you can, try your best, it reveals a lot about your character. They
Yeah.
say that
Always
that running a marathon builds character, but it also reveals it.
yeah. Always pushing your limits, just like one step further, one more mile, right? And obviously you've had some DNFs in your career, but what was the most proud you've ever been with yourself? What race was it that you're like, oh, I'm so happy I did that?
I ran a 6-day self-supported race across the Atacama Desert in South America. So it's the driest place on earth. And the temperatures were over 100 degrees during the day and then down below freezing at night. And it was self-supported. You had to carry everything you needed for 6 days. And it was 250 kilometers. And, you're sleeping on the ground at night on rocks in freezing temperatures. And getting through those 6 days was, it was intense. It was really intense. And I think that was probably the toughest I've ever battled to get to a finish line.
Oh my gosh. And obviously so many people ask you why? Like why, Dean? Why do you do this? A little bit about me. I've done 2 Ironmans, nothing impressive. I finished the most recent one in under 14 hours, which was pretty good. I
Oh,
was definitely proud of
man,
myself for doing
congrats.
Iron.
No, that's just total
Yeah.
respect. Total respect.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, why do you do Ironman? Why would you? Well, it gives me purpose, right? And I have to keep my nutrition clean. I got to make sure I'm hitting my training sessions. It's building mental strength. So why do you do what you do? What is your purpose?
I think it's everything you just said, but it's also, the idea of never stop exploring. So continually, pushing the boundaries, continually trying to go further and learning about yourself. I'm 100% Greek, and the Oracle at Delphi said, "Know thyself." Well, how do you get to know thyself? Not by sitting around watching television. You know thyself by pushing yourself, by really extending, what you think is possible and seeing how you respond to that. So I think that's part of the appeal.
Right. Absolutely. Knowing thyself. And the only way you're going to know yourself is if you put yourself in situations that you've never been in. Right. Like
Yeah.
for you, when you were in Afghanistan, right? I think it was Afghanistan.
Yeah, I was in the stand. So Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan, they border Afghanistan. Yeah.
Okay. And you ran through the desert over there.
Oh, you read my book, so that was a crazy
Yes.
chapter of my life. I was a U.S. athlete ambassador, and I ran between the three capitals of three former Soviet nations: Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. And the Silk Road links all of those together. So I ran
The Silk Road.
525 kilometers along the ancient Silk Road between those countries.
Oh my gosh. So what are some of your goals now? Tell us about what you're up to now. Obviously you're super busy with work and things, but what are you putting a lot of your time and energy into these days?
You've got my most recent book, so you're only as good as your last book, they say in writing circles. So I'm working on another book. My first book, which is called Ultra Marathon Man, is being made into a motion picture, into a movie. So that's been an interesting little side note in my career, is learning that whole Hollywood scene. I'm scheming on another big adventure with a buddy of mine to run from the lowest point on Earth to the highest point on Earth. So you probably know the highest point on Earth.
Mount Everest?
Yeah, it's not a trick question. So running from the Dead Sea to Mount Everest, and it's never been done before, lowest to highest. So we're gonna set our sights, hopefully for 2023 to get underway on that one.
To the peak of Mount Everest?
Yep, exactly. So we're gonna stand up paddleboard, sup across the Dead Sea, and then start running. And obviously we're not gonna run up Mount Everest, but we're gonna run to base camp, and then obviously put on our trekking gear and hopefully get to the summit.
Oh my gosh. How long is that going to take?
That's a trick question because it depends on the route, and the most direct route goes through Iraq and Iran. And we're working with the U.S. Department of State right now to try to get permission to go through those countries. And if we can't do that, then we've got to go a big circumnavigation around like uh, the Black Sea, and so that would take 5 or 6 months versus 3 or 4 months.
Right. And are you going to have a professional guide with you the whole time? Or are you guys doing this by yourself?
No, we're going to do it by ourselves. I mean, we're going to have a support staff, hopefully, at points. But the thing about running is it's very democratic. So although the government's saying, "Hey, it's too risky to get you into Iraq and Iran," there's running groups there and clubs that I'm communicating with these folks. I mean, given the social media these days, it's not hard to get in touch with runners and all over the world. And they said, "Hey, we'll take care of you. You just show up. We'll get you across the border. We'll surround you with all our good guys, and we'll run together across our country." And to me, that is what running's all about. So hopefully, we're going to take that route.
Community and helping each other. So, what does your training look like these days?
Yesterday, I ran about 41 miles. I felt like running, so I just got up in the morning and put on a hydration pack and just took off. So I ran 41 miles. I kind of run by feel. I've got some structured workouts I'm following, but I also during certain weeks, if I don't have a training block, just like to just wander. So no
Right.
particular route in mind, no pace in mind. I'll fast hike if I feel like fast hiking. I'll run fast and hard if I feel like running fast and hard. I'll stop and get a latte if I feel like a latte.
Right.
Just kind of finding the joy in running itself.
Amazing. What is your recovery like?
It's pretty good. As you get older, personally tend to sleep less, and I'm getting slower. As you get older, you just naturally get slower. So my recovery is actually getting better, but it just my pace is just not what it used to be.
Right. As far as like feet or leg muscles or anything like that, where do you focus your recovery on?
Recovery to me is it's a full package. So it's not just one thing. I don't do a lot of massage work or foam rolling. I do love ice baths, so I will fill the tub with cold water and get in that. I also think that good quality protein and a healthy diet is really important. Very clean diet. I also focus on drinking a lot of clear water and also maximizing sleep. So this is gonna sound funny, but I just got a water bed and I just love the thing because there's no pressure points and I can keep it real cold. So, some nights when you run, post Ironman, for instance, your body just generates so much internal heat. It's really hard to stay cool at night. So this waterbed really helps me regulate, my body temperature at night and get a good night's rest.
Great answer. It's sleep, it's diet, the physical stuff with the cold plunge, obviously great. No secrets here, huh, Dean?
Well, the other thing I advocate active recovery. So like today, even though I'm sore and stiff and it was a pretty tough run yesterday, I'm going to go run. I'll probably run 4 or 5 miles, not fast, but I really recommend the day after an ultra, a day after an Ironman, day after a marathon, that you actually get out and move again. You don't just, sit idle. So you can see I'm standing up. Like, I don't know why you're sitting down. Like, I never sit down. I'm bouncing around on my toes, even during this interview. So I'm on my
Right.
feet all day long. I'm never sitting down. And I think that helps a lot as well.
Amazing. Unbelievable. Wow. So right now you're focused on lowest point to highest point. You're running 100 miles a week plus. How do you have time for your family?
I mean, they can tolerate me for so long before they encourage me to go running. You know
Right.
what it's like. Any runner can relate to that. I mean, you overwhelm your family at a point, especially if you haven't run in a couple days. So they push me out the
Hmm.
door. But I've taken my family all over with me. Like I ran 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 days, and I took my kids. My kids were young. I took them with me, and what a great experience. I mean,
Amazing.
how many people even see all 50 U.S. states, let alone experience the food there, meet other kids? Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. So I've taken them to
Incredible.
yeah, my kids have been on
Incredible.
5 continents. I've taken them to South America, Australia, all over Europe many times.
Amazing. So when it comes to your mental health, because I talk a lot about mental health on my podcast, and I talk a lot about meditation, I talk a lot about emotional intelligence, talk a lot about perseverance and self compassion. Out of all those things I mentioned, was there anything that stuck out to you, or what are some of the things that you do to cultivate and nurture your own mental health?
I think I look inward and I know who I am, and I'm an introvert. So I'm very comfortable by myself. In fact, I need time by myself. That's kind of when I rejuvenate. And I also need to be in nature. I can't I've tried meditation and I just can't sit still. I meditate when I move. Motion stirs emotion. So I go running in nature, and that really makes me feel complete, especially when the pandemic hit and my vocation, my job just went away because events got canceled. I mean, I make a living going to marathons and ultra marathons, doing book signings, things like that. That went away. All of a sudden, I have no income. I can't see my friends, and running really saved me. I mean, I would just go run for a couple hours on a trail and just kind of be in the moment. Just cleanse by not thinking about the future, not reflecting on the past, but just being in nature and being present. And to me, that brings me back to being the human that I am, really.
Oh, amazing. Such a good answer. Now, out of all those accolades behind you, which one means the most to you?
This will probably surprise you because I've run on all 7 continents twice. And I've been to some of the most exotic places on earth. But there's a medal that I got running a 10K. You're probably wondering, oh, that's 6.2 miles. I mean, big deal. But I ran a 10K with my daughter Alexandria on her 10th birthday, and
Aw,
yeah, no, to me that was that was the most meaningful.
amazing. Out of all the stories in your book, the story about Nicholas being your support crew was so funny. Was so funny because he was 11 or 10 years old when he was your support crew, and you're always like, Nicholas, like, do you want to go over, the game plan? He's like, no, I got it, Dad. Don't worry. You're like, it's at this place. Like, oh, he's like, do you even know how to get there?
Yeah, Nicholas is such a dude, and he's
Oh my God.
interesting character. Yeah.
Too funny. So let me ask you this. When it comes to longevity, you've proven longevity. You are killing it right now. You've been doing it for so long. You're still doing it at a very, very high level. Someone like me, I'm 31. I've done 2 Ironmans, but I don't think I have a lot of passion for the Ironman. It just keeps me in shape. I have one on the calendar in October in Barcelona, and making sure I get my swims in and get my runs in and get my training in is important. What are some advice you would give? Maybe not just like a high level athlete, but anyone as far as longevity and quality of life.
I think, look at yourself through the lens of being the best animal you can be. So again, it's not just one thing. It's about, your fitness, so your training, and also your cross training. Like I cross train constantly throughout the course of the day. I don't compartmentalize my fitness. Like I have this HIIT training routine that's about 12 to 14 minutes. And I do like 5 or 6 of those throughout the course of the day. In fact, right before this interview, I just did a quick HIIT training, and it's all with body weight. So it's push-ups, pull-ups, chair dips, burpees. So I'm working out constantly throughout the course of the day, along with my running training, my formal running training. My diet also is really clean. Like if I can't, I like to say, if I can't pick it from a tree, dig it from the earth, or catch it with my hands, I don't eat it. So nothing that goes through a machine, nothing that's processed or refined. We talked about sleep quality. I think that's very important for longevity. And the other thing that gets overlooked a lot is the quality of your interpersonal relationships. I think a lot of athletes overlook that. And if you don't have harmonious interpersonal relationships with your family and your friends, there's discord in your life, and your performance is negatively impacted by that. So I really look to optimize my relationships to make sure I have harmony with the folks I'm around.
Amazing. Having strong relationships, so important. So important. Dean, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I'm a huge fan. Read this book. I'm gonna get your other book because I got to read that. Ultra Marathon Man, right? Is
Yeah,
the
that's the
title.
first one. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And to all the people that have been listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts, go ahead and check out Dean at his website. What's your website, Dean?
It's just ultramarathon.com.
That's your
Yeah.
wow. That's
Yeah.
a great website.
Well, I mean, I've been in the game a long time. Someone said if you just Google Dean, I'm the first Dean that comes up. So you can just type in Dean in a search engine, and you can get to my
Just
website.
like that. Go right to Google, type in Dean, you'll pull up his website. To all the people that are watching on YouTube, thanks so much for sticking around up until now. I'll drop the link to ultramarathon.com and all of Dean's socials. I'll drop a link to his book on Amazon. And Dean, I want to thank you so much again for your time. I know you got a bunch of miles you got to put on today, so you're super busy. Is there any last words you want to leave the audience with today?
I have a saying, when you get to where you're going, keep going. So never stop.
Just keep going. When you get to where you're going, keep going. Love it. Dean, thank you so much again. Have a great day. Have a solid week, and look forward to connecting again soon.
Aloha.
Aloha. Beautiful. Talk soon.
What's up, guys? I want to thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We have hundreds of weekly listeners, and I wanted to make sure that everyone listening is hyper aware of how I can serve them best. So if you're interested in hiring me as your life coach or hiring me as your nutritionist, or maybe you just want to get some free advice, head over to lifecoachzach.com, book a free 30-minute consultation, serious inquiries only, and I would love to ask you serious, open-ended, powerful questions that are going to help you pivot your life in a better direction. Let's co-create an action plan and really step in to the greatest version of ourselves.